the first method we'll be going over is the Stillman method, both the modified and the regular one. So first you place the brush at a 90-degree angle so that the sides of the brush are against the attached gingiva and the bottom of the brush is aligned with the occlusal surface. And then you press the brush to a 45-degree angle towards the teeth and vibrate it slowly as you like roll. The rolling is the thing that helps you get underneath the subgingival area so that you can get the plaque out from under there. And you would repeat this method for each tooth. And you would also do the lingual side. And for the occlusal, you would do the same vibrations. You just wouldn't do the rolling method since there's nowhere for it to really roll. And when you're doing the back, you would also do the same vibrations and you would roll it into the lingual surface. But when you are doing the anterior, it's the same for the buccal side of them. But when you're doing the lingual, make sure that you're pressing the bristles into the gingival sulcus, and use the same techniques where you just vibrate it and flick it. I didn't do a good job that time, so I'll just do a little bit better, but you kind of press and then you vibrate as you roll it down, and that's how you do the Stillman, both regular and modified. Method we'll be going over is the Charters one, both the regular and the modified. It's very similar to the Stillman one, it's just the 45-degree angle is a bit different. So you direct the bristles at a 90-degree angle towards the teeth. This one, instead of going up towards so you don't disturb the subgingival, you go down and you basically just do 3 or 4 little rotations, and you would do this on each contact surface, and make sure that the sides of the bristles are massaging the gingival margin so that you're getting a little bit of blood flow there and everything. And you would just do this method throughout every single one. Same thing for the lingual. And when you're doing the inside here, like the back molars, you would just do a little bit of rotation and then kind of flick it into the lingual. And you're doing the same thing for the modified version. You're just doing like rotations in between each teeth, and then you would just flick it up. And it's the same thing as well here, rotation and then flick. That's for the modified. If you're not doing the modified, you just got to rotate it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Go.
So I'm going to be demonstrating the Bass and modified Bass methods. So first you're going to place the toothbrush parallel to the long axis of the tooth. Then you want to slightly tilt the brush upwards at a 45-degree angle to direct the bristles into the sulcus. And then you want to apply a little force so the bristles actually enter the sulcus and so that they cover the gingival margin. So something like that. And then you want to vibrate the brush back and forth with short strokes like this. You want to make sure that you keep the bristles in the sulcus so they can clean in that area. And you would just do little strokes like that. For the mandibular teeth, you want to angle the bristles downward at a 45-degree angle. So same thing like this, and doing short little strokes. For the anterior lingual surfaces, you want to position the brush vertically and also into the sulcus. So I don't know if you can see there, but like this. And then you're going to do short strokes as well, the same way like that. And you want to count at least 10 little strokes before you move on to another area. When moving to a new area, you want to make sure that you're overlapping the previous teeth. So if I'm going here like this, you don't want to jump, you want to overlap like that. And then for the modified Bass method, you're doing the same thing, you're just adding a roll at the end. So you're doing your short little stroke, and then you're going to do a roll. You want to roll the bristles toward the occlusal surfaces of the teeth. So if you're on the top, you're going to roll downwards, and then if you're on the mandibular teeth, you're going to roll upwards. So now I'm going to demonstrate the roll or rolling stroke method. So for this, you want to start by placing the brush parallel to the gingiva. You want to have the bristles directed up if you're working on the maxillary teeth, and you want the plastic portion of the brush head equal with the occlusal plane. So something like that, and that should be a good height for the bristles. And then you want to apply just enough pressure to bend the bristles as you slowly roll toward the occlusal surface of the teeth. As you roll, your wrist should be moving as well. So like that. For the mandibular teeth, you're doing the same rolling motion, but you're gonna obviously go in an upwards direction. So it'll look like this. You don't wanna roll too fast, but nice and slow like that. And really apply just enough force so that if you see there, the bristles are going even in the interproximal areas of the teeth. For the interior lingual surfaces, you want to position the brush vertically. You're going to apply slight pressure and again slowly roll away from the gingiva, like that. And then same thing on the mandibular here. Apply pressure and roll away from the gingiva. And then you're gonna repeat that roll at least 5 times over each area before you move on. And you wanna make sure again that you're overlapping areas as you continue brushing.
The technique I'll be demonstrating is the horizontal technique, which involves the facial of the tooth. The toothbrush is placed right on the surface of the tooth, and it's just moving the toothbrush. It's the tooth back and forth motions, just like this, on the max and on the mandibular side as well, and also on the occlusal of the teeth, just like this, back and forth. And lastly, the last technique is the Fonz technique, which is the toothbrush is placed at a 90-degree angle, and it's in a circular motion on the surface of the teeth as well, just like this. This technique only involves the facial side of the teeth. It does not involve the occlusal or the lingual.